Welcome back to the Best College series and the Best Colleges series. And I do this because I'm fascinated by these schools. All the schools that I have made on this YouTube page, I do because I want to share with you what I'm learning, but also share with you. Today we're talking about Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, short name FAMU, Tallahassee, Florida, historically black college university, excellent institution. Big fan. I've met incredible alumni from FAMU, particularly when I lived in Atlanta, and I wanted to share some things with you. So, first and foremost, as you know, anytime you come to the Best Colleges series, you're going to learn about excuse me, cost, location, major, career. Those are the four key pillars that I always want you to think about when you're considering different schools on a college list. Cost, money matters, location, where is it located, the possible majors that your teen or students, if you're looking at this, that you may consider, and then what are the career aspirations or possibilities. So, want to make sure that we are learning about those. And if you're just going to do a virtual tour, which I'm going to show you how to do as well, you're going to look at the academics, you're going to look at the activities, you're going to look at the acceptance rates, and you're going to look at the admissions requirements. But without further ado, again, a 21% admit rate. I always want to show you how students are, how challenging it can be to get in. Acceptance rate, how many students applied. So, again, very disproportionate gender wise. 16,000 females applied, 6,000, almost 6,500 men, males, and then the total of students there, the gender breakdown of students admitted, and then gender, and then enrolled. That's per class. That's the freshman year class entering class. 21% admit rate based upon applications. I believe FAMU is still test optional, at least for certain departments. That's the SAT, ACT, what they're looking for in their ballpark. Check the engineering. Again, if you're going to apply for engineering, they still might need standardized testing. A bunch of great admissions policies. I don't give too much credence to GPA just because I think there's different schools evaluate grades differently. So again, how your high school does grading may be different how a neighboring high school does grading. So I always want to make sure that people are aware that those two things may not be necessarily the same. Again, big fan of the school. What is considered, so demonstrated interest is not considered in FAMU's evaluation, but I think is interesting. Graduation and retention rates. Again, in a perfect world, this would be higher. I understand that the goal is to graduate in 4 years. I never want people to not see the truth, but a lot of HBCUs in particular have lower graduation rates in 4 years because of a variety of challenges, particularly financial. Life happens. Again, I'm not going to make excuses or say that it is pervasive throughout all HBCUs. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it is a statistic that I want you to always pay attention to. What are the graduation and retention rates for each school based upon a variety of things? Cost. So we talked about cost being a number one priority. I always want you to see how much financial aid is allocated. You can always go to a net price calculator. In state, it is a Florida state school, so it is cheaper for Florida state residents to go. And again, there's a whole bunch of financial aid information. For those of you who may be new here, this is Custom College Plan. We're going to look at the academic programs. This is a tool that I use with my clients inside Strategic Admissions Advice that is, I guess, proprietary for independent consultants like myself. All right, so different majors that are here. They're exceptionally known for engineering. Shout out to Will Power Packer, who's a FAMU graduate, big-time Hollywood producer, and also, I believe, an engineering major for a long time. So I always found that interesting that he parlayed his career into entertainment after being in engineering programs. I always want you to look at the academic programs of any school that you look at. What are their strengths? We're going to look at their website in a second. What are their essay questions? Again, you got to understand how the admissions process works, how the acceptance rate works. I'm sorry that this is taking slower than I wanted to, but you see the fact that it's all about the academics. And if the essays don't pop up, until application essays, the common application essays are here. There are no required supplements, but there could be additional essays for different programs. There we go. university honors program. There's additional essays. So again, it's very, very important that you always understand what's expected. I want to go to the website now because again, FAMU has a great reputation. How can you visit it? It's in Tallahassee, Florida. You want to know what you can do on a campus visit. How do you have? I guess this hasn't been updated yet, but then campus visits. You know, when are you able to go? How do you book the opportunity? Do you want to be a Rattler? I always love their mascot name. I'm sure that there's some more significance behind it. If you are a FAMU graduate, hit me up in the DMs and curse me out for not knowing what the Rattler is. I know it's a snake. All right, but again, we talked about the FAMU, FSU, Florida State University joint program. Florida State is just up the road. Again, a very, very fine institution. I'm glad that one college, two universities, unlimited opportunities. I really like that. Yeah, so again, I always want to make sure that you know how to visit school. So you look at the acceptance rates, which I showed you here, right? We looked at the stats, and I showed you the acceptance rates, which I think is very, very important, 21%. Here we can also look at the admissions requirements. What does it take to apply? I want you to look at the visiting, what it takes to visit. Activities. I always talk about academics. I showed you. I want you to always to know what activities there are in Tallahassee. It is a very, very where you go to student life, okay? Whether it's dining or housing or health services, student activities. Again, in Tallahassee, Florida, you're going to have a festive environment between two universities, but understand that it is a very, Southern culture. Fall is all about football. Thankfully, you don't get too much snow down there. But it's important that you see what clubs and organizations are there. Hazing prevention, that's huge because I'm in a fraternity that historically was known to have hazing in it, and we don't do that anymore. So I'm glad that Greek life is something that they're paying attention to. These are things that, you want to know what's going on campus that could be important. So, big fan of FAMU, and I want everyone else to be a big fan of FAMU. I want your admissions. That's where it's going to go. Application, how do you apply? What are the deadlines? Obviously, this was for last year. That'll be updated. HBCU Excellence, again, 1887. So much history behind these universities. And again, HBCUs are not exclusive to black and brown people. I want everyone to understand that there are lots of different kinds of students, as you can see in this picture, international students that may be at HBCUs. And as someone who loves sports, I'll show you something really cool. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but if I look at student life and I look at, I was going to show you their baseball team. But bottom line is, I really want you to understand that I am not just a fan of FAMU, but I want everyone to learn more about it so that you can too be fans. All right, I'm sorry I could not find their athletic programs because it's just not readily available for me to look at. All right, forgive me. Love FAMU, can't find the baseball page. It's not that deep. FAMU, understand cost, right? The cost, we talked about that, $36,000 a year. If that is inaccurate, it'll tell us here. It should give you more information about tuition. You should always go to the admissions information to talk about tuition and how you can, learn more about it, how to become a Rattler. Again, apply now, schedule a tour. And, virtual tours. That's what I wanted to show you. Virtual tours are awesome. If you cannot make it to Tallahassee, Florida, cost, location, major, career, then you can always have a personalized virtual tour experience. All right? So, cost, location, Tallahassee, possible major, a ton of great academic programs with a specialty in engineering, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, but communications, big fan of their broadcaster who does HBCU sports. I want to say her name is Tiffany Green. She's awesome. And education school, so on and so forth. So, Best Colleges Series, FAMU, big fan. Go to their website, do a virtual tour, learn about all the great things that are going on down in Tallahassee, and always check back with this page, Strategic Admissions Advice, the Best Colleges Series, for more information. Thank you.